Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing everything you thought you knew about yourself might not be true. Your name? Just a label someone else gave you. Your job? A role you stepped into because someone somewhere decided you'd be good at it. Even your body isn't as solid as you think. The cells inside you are constantly dying, regenerating, and replacing themselves until every few years you're almost entirely made of new material, and yet you still say, "This is me." But what if the you you've been identifying with is just a story you've been handed? What if you're far more than a fleeting human life ticking along a timeline? Physicist John Wheeler, who worked with Einstein, believed something astonishing. Reality doesn't simply exist waiting for you to notice it. It comes alive because you notice it. He called it the participatory universe. According to this idea, you're not a tiny character trapped inside a pre-written story. You're the writer, the director, the camera operator, and the lead actor all rolled into one. The universe isn't a cold machine ticking away. It's an improv stage, and your awareness keeps the show running. The more you think about it, the stranger it feels. Your body's been swapped out countless times. Your memories are fluid and change when you recall them, and your brain rewires itself constantly. So if everything physical about you is in motion, what is the you that feels continuous? It's that silent observer behind your thoughts. The presence that's always been there even as everything else changed costumes. That presence is the key to Wheeler's strange but thrilling idea. For centuries, science pictured the universe as a gigantic, indifferent machine. Wheeler challenged that vision. In quantum physics, particles don't lock into a definite state until something observes them. Until then, they exist as shimmering possibilities. Wheeler wondered, if this is true for tiny particles, why not for the whole cosmos? What if reality itself only becomes concrete when consciousness looks at it? In other words, your awareness is not a spectator, it's a creative force. But here's where the plot twists. From the moment you were born, a story was written for you. A name was given, roles assigned, boundaries drawn. The world handed you an identity and said, "This is who you are." You accepted it. Because that's what everyone does. Over time, you started to believe this script was the truth. Yet deep down, you've always felt something didn't add up. That itch that says you're more than your resume, your social media bio, or the version of you other people see. It's the hint that the story was never the whole picture. The reason you forget this is a clever mental trickster called the ego. Imagine putting on a virtual reality headset so convincing you forget you're wearing it. Suddenly, you're in a dark forest, terrified of unseen predators. The moment you take off the headset, the forest vanishes. It was never real. The ego works the same way. It convinces you you're small, separate, and powerless. It thrives on fear and doubt, whispering that life happens to you instead of through you. But when you see through the illusion, its power collapses like a bad special effect. Even time, the one thing we assume is fixed, isn't what it seems. We treat it like a one-way street. Past behind us, future ahead. Wheeler suggested it's more like a movie reel. All the frames exist simultaneously. The mind just plays them in sequence to give the illusion of flow. Your past, your future, and your present are threads in one endless fabric. Imagine every version of you. The kid riding a bike for the first time, the you reading this now, the future you with slightly better hair, all existing at once like open tabs in a browser. You're just focused on one tab. Stranger still, the universe sometimes seems to wink at you. You think of a friend right before they text. You stumble onto the exact answer you needed. A stranger says the words you were hoping to hear We usually call it coincidence or luck, but Wheeler's view suggests something deeper. Your awareness ripples into reality, and reality ripples back. These odd, perfectly timed moments, synchronicities, might be signals that you're interacting with the fabric of the universe more directly than you realized. If that's true, your emotions matter far more than you've been told. They aren't just reactions to the world, they're signals shaping which version of reality you tune into. Joy, gratitude, excitement, these are like tuning a radio to a clear station where things flow. Fear, shame, and doubt. That's the static-filled channel where everything feels stuck. The broadcast you experience depends on the emotional frequency you're sending out. You don't have a good day and then feel happy. You feel happy and then create a good day. Think of it like an infinite Netflix of possible lives. Each channel streams a different version of you. One who took that risk, one who stayed safe, one who ended up somewhere wildly unexpected. You're currently tuned into one channel based on your beliefs and feelings. Changing the channel doesn't require magic. It just means shifting what you focus on and how you feel. Gratitude and curiosity are like a better Wi-Fi signal. Fear is like bad reception. You don't need to join a monastery or give up coffee to play with this. Start simple. Notice what patterns keep showing up in your life. Those repeating stories, the coincidences that aren't so random. Check your emotional playlist. Are fear and frustration on repeat? Or are you experimenting with curiosity and appreciation? Try acting like the version of yourself who's already living the life you'd love. Not someday, but now. Walk the way they'd walk. Make one small decision they'd make. And when something synchronistic happens, don't shrug it off. Treat it like feedback from the universe saying, "Yep, you're tuning the dial." It's important to remember, this isn't about wishful thinking or avoiding hard work. Wheeler was no mystic guru, he was a rigorous scientist fascinated by how observation shapes reality. His famous phrase, "it from bit," suggests the universe is built from yes-no choices, like cosmic computer code. Each decision, each belief, each perspective is a bit of data forming your experience. That doesn't mean you can ignore the practical side of life. Bills still need paying and dogs still need walking. It just means you have more creative input than you were taught. But here's the catch. If the universe is a mirror reflecting your inner state, you can't blame the reflection. Chaos outside usually hints at chaos inside. Beauty outside means beauty within. This isn't judgment. It's feedback. The mirror doesn't punish or reward, it simply reflects what you're projecting. That's empowering, but also confronting. You can't just complain about the plot if you're holding the pen, yet once you know this, you're free to rewrite. Of course, fear shows up the moment you realize you have that power. The ego doesn't want to retire. It will whisper, "Stay small, play safe, don't rock the boat." But that's just the outdated VR program running on autopilot. You can watch the fear arise, question it, and choose differently. Awareness is the off switch. Try a tiny experiment. For the next 24 hours, pay ridiculous attention to your emotions. When joy or gratitude shows up, turn it up a notch, savor it, amplify it. When fear or self-doubt appears, pause and ask, what am I believing that's making me feel this? No self-judgment, just curiosity. That single practice can start changing the channel you're tuned to. Watch how life begins to respond. Maybe through small synchronicities, maybe through surprising clarity. The point isn't to deny reality or float off into woo land. It's to wake up from the illusion that you're powerless. The participatory universe doesn't mean you can snap your fingers and skip every challenge, but it suggests your awareness and choices shape the stage far more than you've been led to believe. Every thought, feeling, and belief is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. And the canvas isn't fixed. It's alive, adjusting to your input. So maybe you're not a small character in a giant, indifferent machine. Maybe you're the ocean pretending to be a wave. Maybe time's a movie you're projecting. Maybe those perfectly timed coincidences are the universe nudging you, hey, you're the one driving. What would happen if you accepted that? What if you dropped the story that says you're powerless and started experimenting with your own creative influence? You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to remember you're holding the remote. The universe isn't waiting to hand you meaning. It's waiting for you to realize you've been shaping it all along. If this journey into the strange, beautiful idea that you might be shaping reality blew your mind even a little, don't just close the tab and forget about it. Sit with it, experiment with it, and see what happens when you start tuning your awareness with intention. Hit that like button if this sparked something in you, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next journey beyond the surface of reality. Your universe is waiting, and this is just the beginning.